6 years old, which is where he spent his life until now, and then took Gyan at the age of 35, and then within 6 months went to meet Baba. But before that was not interested in religion at all. And when he met Baba, was so intoxicated and has been a teacher in the UK and does many classes. On a Logic level, he's educated to degree level, but now works in the building industry, but soon to retire. So today we're going to have a class, I think for an hour, is that right? On the topic of how to use Baba.
Om Shanti.
So which year was it when you met Baba first?
Actually, well, first of all, it's very lovely to meet you all and to be in Thailand. This is my first time in Thailand. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my daughter. So I would have gone straight to Madhuban. So after Thailand, I'm going to Madhuban for 2 weeks and then back to the UK. Yes, I took Gyan in July '95. I have been searching for God for a long time, but not in the form of religion. Religion always turned me off. But I read many books on God. I had this sort of fortune to understand different religions. So read many books, and like with most souls who come to Baba, something happens in their life. You know, it's a difficult moment, challenging situations, and then there's like you've lost hope in the old world, and it's at that moment of that. Well, you know, when Baba's talking about faith, it's that moment of faith comes and says, okay, Baba hears our call, answers our call. He certainly answered my call. And so actually 9 months after that I went to meet Baba, and I took the whole family, because my wife came into Gyan 6 months prior, and I didn't know she was practicing meditation. For me, it was religion was a big turn off because I found the hypocrisy not good.
Just the mic, pull it out, yes.
Is that better?
Oh, not yet.
We always have technical issues wherever we go.
No, not yet.
No, still not coming.
Still go. So दूसरा वाला लगा लें। ये इसकी पोजीशन ठीक नहीं है। You have to shift it up.
ज्योति भाई, दूसरा वाला लगा सकते हैं? दूसरा वाला लगा सकते हैं?
Is that better now?
Yeah.
Is that better? Okay.
नहीं, अभी भी mic की तो आवाज़
But you might have to hold it.
And it was this intoxication of knowing that this was God. I'd done the course literally within 1 week. It was literally like that. Yeah. My wife had sort of asked me, would you like to do meditation? And I said, no, it's not really for me. Right? I had these sort of like stereotype images of people practicing you know, and sitting in these difficult postures. So it was not something for me. But she persevered, she kept going, and really I went to keep her quiet. And when I went, it was like, wow. It was it's like a terraced house in England. What happens is, there's a lot of these old houses side by side. So on the outside, you think, there's not much here. And that's what happens with a lot of Baba's houses. There's not much, and then you go in and you feel the vibrations, and something happens. And at that time, there were 2 houses in Leicester. The original house that they had opened where they lived, and then the house adjacent to where they lived became Baba's house. And it was upstairs in Baba's room that I actually did the course. And the interesting was, there was a big translite of Brahma Baba. And the brother had this was my very first lesson, it just went out. And I this person's looking at me. And it's like a photograph. And I said, it's almost like it's real. He's looking at me. And so while he was out, you know what I did? I got up and I walked to the other side of the room.
And still
it's left, and I felt his eyes were following me. And I thought, this is interesting. So anyway, at the end of the session, it was a very interesting because it's the lesson of the soul. And I asked who this person was, and I thought, if he tells me he's God, I'm going now. And he didn't say that. He said, well, he's the founder of the establishment, and it's there as a picture of respect. And I could buy into that. I didn't have any problem. And that was the moment. And then everything just clicked. It just came. It was like it all made sense. And literally, I realized even before he told me that point of light was God. So that was my fortune. And then I had this meeting with Baba in SHIVBaba. It was those moments. It was just you could still go onto the stage for the first timers and take Vrishti. It was a big queue, and I met Baba twice. I was there for about 3 weeks, and Baba was coming every 2 weeks at that time. So that was a real intoxication. I remember it well, and I thought, wow, here am I, and there is God. I said to myself, that's God. So that was the starting point of my journey, and I'm sure you have your own wonderful story to tell as well. I always think as Brahmins, if we just wrote down our own experiences and they were put into a book, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Because each one of us, as like Baba says, is unique. And we have searched for Baba more than any other souls. And we're the first ones that recognize Baba. So that is the greatest fortune that Baba's children have, is that they recognize Baba, and they recognize themselves, and they recognize the knowledge that he gives. So Baba comes in this most elevated, most auspicious confluence stage. And like he says, he comes at his own time. It's not a second earlier or a second later, it's absolutely precise. And he comes because he wants to make us pure.
Yeah.
He has come to restore our own dignity, our self-respect, and to make us realize how special we are. Because over the years since the beginning of the Copper Age, we have forgotten who we are. And that has led to a world which is in dire straits in terms of conflict and sorrow. And so to Baba to come into this physical world is wow. Yeah. So Baba comes and says, okay, I've come to give you the inheritance that I come and give you every cycle, which you claim. So he says, I give you myself to you. I surrender myself to you. And you surrender yourself to me as well. But in that context, we're number-wise.
Yeah.
So why is it that some souls really excel and some souls don't move as fast as, or they don't take as much as they could do? Shall I hold it here? I can hold it.
I hold it.
I can. Is that better? Yeah, that's so much better. When I came to Baba, we had that enthusiasm, and Baba was talking about zeal and enthusiasm today. And once you say yes to Baba, there is so much that he teaches us. So one of the areas that I learned a lot was the sound department. So I became pretty good at the sound systems. So for years, many years, I looked after the sound system in Leicester as well. Now that's been given to someone else. It's a different. We have a sister who's in charge of that particular department. So in the confluence age, Baba makes himself available to his children, and he's like a resource. He's the greatest resource that we will ever access. And he only comes in this one moment in the confluence age. And so he teaches us through the Murli. And it's there in black and white. It's not a question of, did Baba say this, or I have this feeling. No, it's absolutely clear in black and white through the Murlis that Baba spoke through 1964 to 69 in what we call the, what will become the Gita, the 18 chapters of the Gita, or what we call the Murlis. And like in everything in life, we're so unique. You know, we take what we want. And I've realized that there are some souls who seem to really excel, and some souls they go not as fast as they could. So what is the difference? And it's all about first understanding who it is that is actually teaching us. So the first thing we need to recognize who it is that's actually teaching me. It's like Baba says, it's not a guru, it's not a great sage or a sadhu. This is him, D1, the one that everyone is searching for, the one the Christians are searching for, or the ones in Islam are calling Allah. He is here. And so the first awareness we need to have is, this is God, the Almighty Authority, Sarva Shaktiman. Yeah. And if I have that consciousness, I can never ever doubt what Baba is saying. If I haven't accepted fully Baba, then I will not fully accept what he says. And so I will not be able to access all the things that Baba gives us. And he gives us three things in the confluence age. One is knowledge. Second is powers. And the third is virtues. These are the three treasures that he gives in the confluence age. Then it's just a question of using them. And like everything in life, if you use something over and over again, you master it. I'm sure you know how to use your cooking knife, your chopping knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a Thai cooking class, a vegetarian one. And my wife and myself, and there were a few other students as well. And she was using the chopping knife. And I've never used this type of chopping knife before. And because it was so good, we went out straight after class, after the so we bought one. We bought one for ourselves, for our daughters as well. And she'd used it so much, she'd become an expert. In the same way, the more we use Baba's knowledge, the more we follow Baba's directions, the more we become experts at it. So when someone says, you're so good in using that particular tool, it's because they use the tool. And when they don't use the tool, they haven't mastered the art of using that particular tool. So in my profession, in the building trade, I work for myself on just a small set, just to keep myself busy. And we have a lot of tools. There are specific tools to do a particular job. But some people don't know how to use a tool. They're afraid. They don't know what to do with it. But I say, go and experiment with it. Explore it. And then everything will become easy. So I've got to explore and experiment what Baba teaches us. So listen very carefully what Baba is saying. Now we're all number wise. There are moments when we have, I feel great, Baba, and there are no moments, Baba, leave me alone. And I think it's about how much have I absorbed what Baba is saying. And how many times does Baba say, just keep it simple. Like you said in Spain, keep it short and sweet. Just remember, I'm a soul. How many of us actually remember that we're a soul? How many of us actually say to ourselves, I'm a soul? You can put your tissues in my bag. So I'm practicing myself. When we first come to Baba, I'm a soul. I remember the very first lesson. I went going home, I'm a soul. Next day, I was seeing all these people, and I'd say, you're a soul, you're a soul, you're a soul, you're a soul. So I'm practicing. But then, that enthusiasm seems to dip a bit. In management, it's called the S curve. You know, you go on a high, and then you dips down, and then you got to go up again. Hence why it's called the S curve. So we come to Baba really intoxicated. Yeah, I'm a soul, you're a soul. But then the old world, the old habits, the sanskars, the nature, the relationships, the distractions, all come that take us away from being soul consciousness. So the very essence of what Baba teaches us is, I'm a soul. You know? And if I become soul conscious, Baba's done his part. He can go there. So first thing I need to do is to listen to what Baba's saying and follow his directions. That is his Srimad. So we can write down all the things that Baba wants us to do. You know, it's like Baba said today, have good wishes and pure feelings for everyone. Even though they may not take those from you, but still give, that's a Srimad. So am I following Baba's Srimad? Am I following Baba's directions? You know, I understand you have an IKEA store here. You know, IKEA are very big. You know, it's a Swedish store company, and they only sell flat pack furniture. You know, they keep it simple. And each of those flat packs, they have instructions. They have diagrams of what to do in every single step. And if you follow those instructions, you should get the actual article that inspired you to buy. But if you stop following the instructions, you may not end up with what was originally that you saw. So in the same way, Baba gives us these instructions, and if we follow the instructions exactly, we should get the finished product of being happy, being content, being intoxicated. But when we don't follow Baba's Srimad, that's when the problem arises. So Baba, the great coach, the great mentor, the great teacher, the great guru, he knows that. He understands. He understands what we've been through. So he comes to our level, and then he inspires us to become at his level. So how do we use Baba? Well, we use Baba all the time. We don't actually sometimes acknowledge that we're actually using Baba. I mean, even to come here to dress up in white, it's like, yeah, I'm following Baba's directions. You know, Baba talks about the power of the satsang, the power of the gathering. It is much different when you come to a gathering than it is, say, listening on a screen or a Zoom. But we understand people have their different situations, so we have to appreciate everyone's situation. We can't judge anyone. But still, if you can, a live audience is much better than a recorded audience. I mean, if you watch football, if you like football, I know Thais like their football. Going to a live football match is different than watching a football on a TV. And it's the same with Baba. You know, you come to Baba's gathering, Baba's house, you feel the energy. It's not just, oh, I listen to Baba, but you engage, you interact, and you get to know the souls. So first thing is just practice soul consciousness as much as possible. You know, I'm still practicing it. You know, it's just getting into the unity. And then there are two things that Baba gives us. One is Maryadas, and second is Srimad. Maryadas are not negotiable. Okay? So these are like the rules. These are the rules and regulations that every organization has. Yeah? Okay. So the Maryadas are the basis, the foundation of a good Brahmin life. You know, the aim that Baba often says is to become like Lakshmi Narayan. You know, when Baba used to speak at Mondays in the history hall, there would be a picture of Lakshmi Narayan behind him, and he would speak. And you know, Baba would always come, just briefly, if you've ever been to a history hall, he just comes in, and then even when he went out, he would always be facing the audience, and then he would go back. He says, this is what you have to become. But to become like Lakshmi Narayan, he says, you have to follow all of these principles. It's like when someone says, I want to become fit, the aim is to become fit. But in order to become fit, you need to exercise, you need to have a healthy diet. So all of these factors, this holistic approach to this lifestyle will make you healthy. But the aim is not, oh, I want to give up this or give up that. No, the aim is to become healthy. So in the same way, Baba gives us this aim and objective to become happy, to become constantly pure and elevated like Lakshmi Narayan. So the Maryadas are important. So I need to ask myself, am I following Baba's Maryadas accurately? No? Or do I follow it sometimes? Baba likes this word sada, constantly. Yeah? He doesn't like sometimes. So I ask myself, do I constantly follow Baba's Maryadas? And these Maryadas you can get. You can go onto the Brahma Kumari's websites and you can find out what those Maryadas. And there are 4 pillars of the Maryadas. One is obviously purity, good company, pure food, and the study. So if I follow the Maryadas, it's like I'm getting my foundation just right. And then I fall into a routine. And then Srimat. Now Srimat is slightly different from the Maryadas. Srimat is directions according to our circumstances. So what Baba says to one soul may not apply to another soul, because that Srimat is particular to that one soul. So don't think that I have to do what someone else does, because we have to take into consideration our circumstances. So let's say I'm a mother and I have a young child, a little baby. Can I get up and just leave the baby and go to the center at 4 o'clock in the morning?
No.
No. That would be doing huge amount of disservice to the yajna and Baba. So I need to understand, yes, I need to get up, but I can stay at home. So that's correct for that particular soul, but not correct for someone who has no responsibility, who is free. So sometimes people say, well, Baba, I have to work at night. Nowadays people have night shift. It's a 24-hour economy. And people say you have to, you wake up at 3:30 in the morning or whatever time, and then you remember me. I can't do that. So your Amrit Vela is when you wake up after you've come home, and it could be in the afternoon. So if you wake up 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that's your Amrit Vela. That's Srimat. So you can't compare yourself with others. So it's important that we don't compete with others. We don't compare ourselves with others. We need to understand how Baba gives us teachings to use for ourselves in a relevant way. It's like if you have a knife and you're right-handed, someone may be using that knife in a certain way, which a left-handed person would not use. So you have to use the same tool, but you have to adapt it. So Srimat is where we learn to adapt things that's relevant for us. So don't say, oh, someone said this and they said I should do that and I'm not doing it, and it's to make me feel bad. No, don't feel bad. Just think, am I following Baba Srimat? And when you're following Baba Srimat, the sign of following Baba Srimat? You feel light, you feel easy, you feel happy, you feel contented. If it's burdening us, then sometimes like Baba says, you have to serve, 24 hours serve. You can't serve 24/7, it's not possible. We have to rest. We have to stay, we have to fulfill responsibilities to family, to home, those who have those situations. So take Srimat according to our own unique circumstances, okay? So I was very fortunate that when I came to Baba it was 4 weeks after that I actually came to Amrit Vela. I loved the Brahmin family. I thought they were great. And I used to say, I hope I don't have any karmic accounts with these. How long was I? Brahmins are the ones that we have the most karmic accounts with because we've been around the cycle for so long. And I thought, I hope I don't have any karmic accounts with these souls. Of course we have some sort of karmic accounts. And they were pushing me to come to the morning class. And there was a lot of resistance from my part because I wasn't an early riser like they were thinking. So they would ask and I would politely say, I'm really busy. Which, you know what that means? Leave me alone. And then someone said to me, oh, I understand you're coming to class tomorrow morning. So that was like a trick that Baba used on me. Because before, everyone was asking me. Now, someone was telling me. There was a difference. So with someone was asking me, I could say no. Now, Baba knew that we all have a lot of arrogance, we have a lot of ego. And when our ego is touched, bruised, we cannot back down. So when that soul said, I understand you're coming in the morning. And I said to myself, I never said I was coming in the morning. I never said to anyone I was coming in the morning. But now, because that soul has said, I understand you're coming, and so I thought to myself, oh, so you think I can't come in the morning then, do you? This is the thought I had in my mind. So you see, Baba's using my weakness.
Reverse psychology.
Yes, reverse psychology, as you said. And